It's time for the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX. On your radio at AM 940 and online at mywithersradio.com. Recognized by the Illinois Broadcasters Association as one of the premier radio feature programs in the state. You're about to roam the region with more guests and content courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. Live from the Powerhouse, the Saturday Sports Show starts now.
And glad to have you with us, WMIX, WMIXsports.com, for the Saturday Sports Show on another Saturday morning. Doom and gloom outside, you'd think, but it was a great night of high school basketball last night. We'll talk about plenty of that a little bit later on. We'll also share with you our guest list here in just a moment. Saturday Sports Show, as always, is presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Had a couple of games last night on WMIX. On the FM side, the Mount Vernon Rams upset number 2 state-ranked Cahokia in Class 3A. 58-54 in overtime. It was a heck of a game. We'll talk with Mount Vernon Rams head coach Scott Gamber about that one. We'll also talk with Mount Vernon Lady Rams head coach Jeff Lonnon. Lonnon's team, the Lady Rams, go for 8-1 today on the road at Freeburg. We'll have that game, of course, right here, actually on WMIX FM later on this afternoon. We'll tell you all of that a little bit later on. You can always find our broadcast schedules, video highlights, archives, and more at WMIXsports.com. We'll talk with Shane Witzel, head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals. The Cardinals, of course, in the Battle of the Blacktop last night, defeated the Waltonville Spartans in Midland Trail Conference play. We'll talk with Coach Witzel about his team's big victory, also the banner raising and the big ceremony last night for the Woodlawn Cardinals state championship team in 2011-2012. Bob Waggoner, head coach of the Pinckneyville Panthers, will join us. His team got a big win over Anna Jonesboro last night. We'll talk with Clint Winemiller as well. His Lady Foxes, of course, on a roll this season. We're on a roll. But they are going to do something very special today in McLeansboro. They're going to rename their gymnasium after Jerry Sloan. I can't think of a bigger honor than to have your... I know he's a man that's had many honors, but I can't think of a bigger honor than to have a gym in your hometown named after you, because sometimes home is the most special place. Ray Clodi, of course, coach of the Mount Vernon Mavericks, will join us in the 9 o'clock hour. It's a busy lineup for you today, not as busy as it normally would be. But we're going to take some time to talk about some of the other things going on in high school sports, especially the fact that high school boys basketball and girls basketball regional side assignments have been announced. And definitely some interesting regionals going to take place and leading to interesting sectionals in classes 1A through 4A. Come February and March. Plenty more to talk about. Also, holiday tournament pairings have been announced all across Southern Illinois. Centralia, Mascoutah girls, Sesser-Valier, El Dorado, amongst others, have been announced. Carbondale as well. We might run down some of those here today. Next week will be our holiday tournament preview. We hope you'll stick around through the holiday and listen to us next week as we run down and preview all of your local holiday tournaments. Gentlemen, a good night of basketball last night. The Mount Vernon Rams upset Cahokia on the FM. You guys had the call of the Woodlawn-Waltonville game on AM 940. Obviously, we both couldn't be in two places at once. I thought a great game. Your guys' game looked pretty close early in the onset from following on Twitter at WMIX Sports, but seemed like Woodlawn used maybe a second quarter to pull away.
Ty Coleman was basically the story in the second quarter. I mean, it was obvious that Waltonville was going to back down and guard some other players, and Ty Coleman was left open, and he knocked down some shots, knocked down a couple threes, had double digits at halftime. Had the game. He had a big game last night. I think that was the key in that second quarter. I mean, he was the guy that stepped up, and in rivalry games like this, you know all the big players in the game, but you never know who will step up, and he was one that stepped up last night, and I thought really propelled Woodlawn to the win. He was our Crossroads Community Hospital player of the game.
Any coach that says that they don't have favorites on basketball teams or any sport level, they're just fooling everybody. But Ty Coleman is a kid that has worked defensively. It's never changed. His defense has been solid ever since his freshman year. The offense has been one that he's continually worked on, and it showed last night. I mean, Waltonville was bound determined they were going to let him open, and he was going to beat them early with shots. He had some good looks, and that's as a shooter, that's the confident thing for him. Knocked down the first one. Come around, another screen, hit another shot, and then you could see it. He felt it, and shooters do those things. And he knocked them down last night, and if that continues, if he can score some points like that with his defense and hustle that he gives every game the effort, it's going to be good for the Woodlawn Cardinals.
Well, and it's certainly a big win for the Cardinals last night after falling to Oakville and Mater Dei on successive Fridays. The Spartans 0-2 on the week after an undefeated stretch going into the week with losses to Carlisle and Woodlawn, and certainly no slouches on the Waltonville schedule, Carlisle and Woodlawn. But it was a busy week for both of those teams. The Mount Vernon Rams, meanwhile, got a big win last night over Cahokia. You heard it on WMIX FM, watched it on WMIXsports.com, and one of those games where you knew in the first quarter when the Rams actually had a lead of about, I believe, 8-7 early on, that something magical may be in the air that night in Shagnon Gymnasium. But then going on the rest of the way, an 11-0 run to start the second half, you thought maybe, okay, maybe we were wrong. And Trevor floated 3 with, I think, about 3:58 left to go in the third quarter, started a Rams 7-0 run to close out that third quarter. So down 4 when you could have been down much, much more to close out that run. And then, you have big 3 after big 3, big bucket after big bucket, and the Rams just seemed heck bent on upsetting Cahokia after a tough loss last week on the road at Olive. We'll talk with Scott Gamber about that. But
it's that Shagnon chicanery is what it is.
I think it was
because
Chaos Cage.
Cahokia can't figure it out.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because there was actually a restraining line violation in overtime. And if I can't remember if it was tied or the Rams were down 2 at that point, but I really thought the difference in the ball game was the fact that Cahokia got a little over-aggressive in the press late. And then on an inbound play with, I think, less than a minute to go in overtime, we're tied. We're tied at 54. And on an inbound play, side out of bounds, half court, our side, WMIX Sports Mobile Studio side. Inbound goes into the back court. Off a double team, they foul. And a tie game. Rams go to the line, make the free throws, and then make 2 more after that, put themselves up 4, and Rams end up getting a big win over Cahokia.
Not having seen 1 second of that game, obviously, because we had the event out at Woodlawn.
But you can watch the archive on WMIXsports.com.
We'll do that for sure, and then do some comparisons, and you look at maybe something similar to Woodlawn at Oakville in the championship of that tournament. Teams like that, when they come in on the road, you need to win those games in regulation. You do not want to go into overtime in ball games like that when you're close and at home. Too many advantages can go your way, and obviously it got them and it got the Woodlawn Cardinals as well. So good job by the Mount Vernon Rams last night.
Well, definitely a big win. Of course, more than just Mount Vernon, Cahokia, and Woodlawn Waltonville last night. Weber Township got a big win. We'll take a look at that with our scoreboard.
Scoreboard is, mentioned the Mount Vernon win. Altoff beat Carbondale last night 75-73 in a game that was not indicative of the final score. Centralia beat Marion 63-50. It's a lot bigger than that. Woodlawn beat Waltonville, as we said, 58-46. Black Diamond, SV over Christopher by 1, 49-48. Hamco beat Carmi 46-44. Fairfield over Vienna 63-51. Johnston City over El Dorado 65-47. It was Chester over Trico in a close one, 55-53. Harrisburg over Massac County in the River to River, 72-46. Heron over Frankfort, 73-35. And then Benton started out 5-0 lead and then was outscored 45-22 and losing to Murfreesboro 45-27 in the River to River, Mississippi. Pinckneyville opened up renovated Duster Thomas, 67-45 over AJ. Sparta with a big win over DuQuoin, 59-38. And Carterville lost to Nashville, 60-41. In the Metro East, Belleville East beat O'Fallon, 64-43. Belleville West beat East St. Louis, 74-72. Alton over Collinsville, 50-47. And Edwardsville beat Granite City, 76-53. Mississippi Valley, Highland over Triad, 37-33. Bethalto over Roxana, 49-43. Jerseyville got Piasol Southwestern, 56-39. Cahokia Conference, Carlisle beat Central, 40-37. New Athens over Lebanon, 51-44. Non-conference, Mater Dei beat Quincy Notre Dame, 56-49. Back to the Cahokia, Columbia over Freeburg, 41-40. And over to our friends in the East, Robinson over Lawrenceville, 81-54. Casey beat Red Hill, 68-37. Going north, Charleston beat Paris, 65-53. And Dietrich beat St. Anthony, 65-61.
There you have it. That's
By the way, I forgot
Go ahead.
3. Sorry, I forgot 3. At Conrad Allen last night
Oh,
in
yeah.
Wayne City. I forgot. They were heading up top. Weber Township, I had him scrolled to the thing. I forgot
Right.
about that. Weber beat Grayville 49-37. Edwards County beat Crab Orchard 74-44. And Sisney beat Thompsonville 68-48. I think I'm done now.
Well, Conrad Allen, and we'll go to a break here shortly, catch up with Rams head coach Scott Gamber. But we were remiss if we didn't congratulate Weber on their first win in the Conrad Allen, 4th win on the season, and showing marked signs of improvement under Chad Harper out east. But we saw the Trojans on Thursday night. We also saw the Wayne City Indians and helped usher in, I guess, their second consecutive win.
Right.
That was a big deal for them. They were glad to have had us afterwards. But Weber got a big win last night. Wayne City a big win on Thursday night, but we've got to see both teams. But most importantly for Weber, did see a lot of signs of improvement. We just saw a ZR team that had done their homework and was basically ready for everything Weber had to throw at them.
I was impressed with Wayne City Thursday night. I got a younger kid, a freshman point guard. He's going to be around for a while. I mean, he's a kid that's coming in and doing that. I mean, and he's doing it. Downing kid is playing well. And, I mean, he came out, and at this point of the year, by the time he gets to late January, he's only going to be a freshman in label, not in play, because he comes out and he plays like he's a senior. He's going to have a long, nice career at Wayne City, and the fact that they've got some younger kids coming up behind them, Russ Gerlach's going to have a nice little run here in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years because that Wayne City Indian crew looks pretty darn good over there with what they got coming up. Of
course, with Chad Harper and the Weber Trojans, and we'll probably talk more about them a little bit later on. Obviously, their starting five of you had Dakota Dickey, who impressed me on Thursday night, had a pretty good performance. I know Colton Dye has a lot of experience. Ty Henderson, uses that height to his advantage. You have Odell, of course, that has started quite a few games in his time at Weber. But Austin, I think, is getting some starting time this year. But Austin and Welch are two last year that impressed me for Weber Township, and hopefully the Trojans can rely on them down the stretch. But the Trojans are definitely going to continue to improve under Chad Harper there in the East.
And they'll get better, and as this season goes on, of course, they're still learning each other. I mean, it was kind of it would be higher midsummer and late summer, and so, I mean, they're getting used to each other right now. And by the time they roll around and get probably to the conference tournament, Weber's not going to be an easy out for anybody. And, of course, we're excited to not only do, obviously Waltonville, Woodlawn, and they're here, but we always look forward to do Weber Township and Wayne City games as well.
Well, that we do. And, of course, we'll have a Weber girls game coming up on Monday night. We'll talk plenty more about that. Find our broadcast schedule at WMIXsports.com. We need to take a quick break. We'll come back with Rams head coach Scott Gamber. His Mount Vernon Rams upset the Cahokia Comanches last night. We'll be back after this. This is a Saturday Sports Show from WMIX Sports, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Do you farm or operate an agriculture-based business? Then Community First Bank is for you. Hi, I'm Steve Down, Agribusiness Lending Officer at Community First Bank. With our roots firmly planted in Jefferson County, we offer the stability, strength, and personal attention that you deserve. Community First Bank wants to be your financial partner with customized products for both your personal and farm banking needs. Stop by any of our 5 convenient Jefferson County locations to see how we can help your business grow.
Community First Bank with locations in Mount Vernon, Woodlawn, Dix, and Ina. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, the entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Glad to have you with us. Courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Glad to welcome to the program now Mount Vernon Rams head coach Scott Gamber. Rams got a big win last night over number 2 Cahokia, 58-54 in overtime. Scott, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
You know what? Doing pretty good. It's good to hear you after a win again. And last night the Rams upset Cahokia, as we just said, and we talked about it in our postgame, probably talked about it for about 20 or 30 minutes, it seemed like, in our postgame. But a lot of excitement out of the Rams last night. Chaos Cage was up and going. I thought that was huge. But most importantly, everybody together cohesively did something to win that ball game last night.
Yeah, and that was really nice. And that's what had to happen. For us, we said it all week. For us to be able to win last night, we had to have a lot of guys play really well. And we had to hope that they didn't shoot the ball extremely well from the perimeter. And that's what happened. I mean, Jake Pike had a huge game. Trevor had a huge game. And then, Michael Feather guarding Vincent Jackson, holding him to 8 points. I thought we got some huge minutes out of Braden Fitzgerald. And he was able to get to the rim there a couple times in overtime and late. And just the fact, handling their pressure. Shakari Hawkins gave us some real big minutes off the bench. And then Jaron just kind of, does what he does. Just, took care of the ball, made some nice passes, played good defense. And, that's what had to happen. We had to have a lot of guys. And then, when you sit back and start thinking of some things. We were very fortunate to win that game last night. Shakari Hawkins hit that three from the corner, and then Jake hits the three with 6 seconds left to send it into overtime. And they got a great look at the end of regulation that would have won it for them. A lot of things fell into place, but a lot of things have to fall into place to beat a team like Cahokia.
Well, and a team like Cahokia, often described as a team that is late 90s South 7 good, which I know will probably ring true with you, but they came in last night, and you could just see that chip on their shoulder, expecting to come into Chagnon and win big. And Keenan Miner, of course, got his, as did Darius Austin. He got his as well. But I thought, all things considered, the Rams defended very well, even though those two guys still got their points.
Yeah, I was really happy with our defense. I think the thing I was maybe happiest about our defense with was the fact that they got offensive rebounds. I'm not saying that we shut them down there, but I thought our guys did a really good job of limiting them to one shot for the majority of the game. Watching them in film, that's what stood out was, you could maybe get them to take some tough shots, but the ability to be able to then go get the rebound where, on film they just killed teams in that area. And I thought our guys did a really nice job. Darius Austin's a nice player. He's long, he's athletic. I thought we let him get more around the basket than we should have. I wish, if he's going to get 19, I wish they would have been forced to come from the perimeter a little bit. But, it's hard to do that. I mean, when they've got that kind of size, it's hard to limit everybody. I think last night kind of showed just how good Keenan Miner is, because throughout the game I thought he's having a decent game. Then you look and he had 22 points or 20 points or whatever he had. It's just he's a very good basketball player, but I thought a big key was early in the game, Jake Pike and others attacking the basket, scoring against that press, kind of gaining confidence against it. And then, the other huge key was when we got down 11 there in the third quarter, it looked like things were going to get out of hand. Trevor hit back-to-back threes, and we settled down a little bit defensively. We're able to get it to a manageable number at the end of the third quarter. And luckily hit those shots. And then in overtime, that was, we started out, Shakari made that great move to the basket, got fouled and scored. And we got up 5, got them to miss a shot, but we couldn't get the offensive rebound, or we couldn't get the defensive rebound. They got it, scored. They hit that 3. And, it looked like we were going to let an opportunity slip away, but luckily they fouled Trevor. Trevor made both free throws. We got the stop, and then they fouled Braden, and Braden made both free throws to close out the game. That was nice. It would have been really heartbreaking to be up 5 in that first overtime and for it to go into double overtime. That would have been tough for us to win if that would have occurred.
How much of it is the fact that Chagnon's chicanery goes on and Cahokia comes in and just can't figure out that building?
I think it's a lot of that, and what's kind of weird about the Cahokia Mount Vernon. 2 years ago, Cahokia beat us at Mount Vernon. We beat them at Cahokia. Last year, Cahokia beat us at Mount Vernon. We beat them at Cahokia. This is the first time we beat Cahokia at Mount Vernon, I think, in 4 years. And I think playing at home had a huge part to do with it. And then we played them on the right night. I mean, we were coming off a loss. Our kids were hungry. Our kids were really disappointed after last Friday. I think our kids had something to prove, getting to play the number 2 ranked team in the state. I mean, we had a lot of excitement built up all week. Whereas they're 8-0. They're playing a Mount Vernon team that's 4-3, that just lost to Althoff, that's not been highly touted. I think we kind of caught them off guard a little bit. I think, like Chris said to start the show, I think they came in thinking not just that they were going to win, but that they were going to beat us badly. And I thought what we told our kids before the game, the longer you keep them close, they're going to be the ones tighten up. We had no pressure last night. Outside of our team and maybe a few other people, nobody was expecting us to win. We had no pressure. All the pressure lied on them. if that game, like what happened, if it got into the fourth quarter tight, that's a lot of pressure. When you're undefeated, when you're good, when everybody's picking you to go, win the conference, make a deep run, that's a lot of pressure. And I think that kind of showed last night. I thought as the game, the game went on further and further there in the second half and overtime. They tightened up a little bit, and our kids stayed loose. And it's, like I said, just a lot of things fell into place last night.
Of course, tonight, Waterloo Bulldogs, not quite the ring to it that the Cahokia Comanches would have coming into Chagnon Gymnasium, but you get a good team, an improving team in Waterloo that comes in. I know you had the chance to see them with another one of our guests this week. What did you see about the Bulldogs? I know they're a team that continues to get better, but is there anything you saw about the Bulldogs that just said, wow, this is a much better team than we've seen before?
What I liked about what Waterloo did this year that causes me concern. Last year they had the two bigger kids. They had the 6'7" kid who I think was a sophomore last year, and then they had the 6'3" kid who posed hard. And last year I thought they were just kind of out there, part of the team. What worried me was against Jabot, they really forced the ball inside the Kretschmann, and he looked a lot more skilled than what he was last year. Last year we did not guard him outside of about 5 feet. And last year, when the ball went into him, we did not help down on him at all because we didn't feel like he was good enough to score when he got it down there. We cannot do that tonight. He has improved so much from a year ago, and that's a concern because they've got the point guard can really shoot it, and they've got the good big kid that we're going to have to help down on. So that's a concern. But the other thing is, as you guys know, last night Cahokia played us the perfect way for us. They gave us a lot of easy baskets. They gave us a lot of good looks. We said if we could handle their initial pressure, we'd have a chance, and luckily we did last night. That could have gone, a few more turnovers there early, and they're feeling great, and I think they're a team that really plays off momentum, and luckily they never got that. Tonight, it's going to be the exact opposite. Waterloo's not going to pressure anything we do. Waterloo's not going to give us any layups. Everything we get, we're going to have to earn. So no, Waterloo's not nearly as athletic or nearly as big or nearly as good as Cahokia, but they're going to play us a way that's a lot better than what we got played last night. And that's what our kids have to realize. Hey, these transition layups, easy shots, they're going to be hard to come by tonight. We're going to have to score, through our offense. We're going to have to score through our motion and all that, which we didn't have to do much of last night. Most of the shots we got last night were through just spreading the floor and setting a lot of back screens. And they're going to play differently. They're going to make sure they get a great shot. Last night we had to guard ball screens and we had to guard dribble drives. We didn't have to go through any screens. We didn't have to go against any sets. Well, tonight Waterloo's very set oriented. They're going to run us off a ton of screens. So it's going to be a completely different ball game.
Final question for you, because we know you got a busy day with a new game tonight and preparation coming up. Our WMIX Sports social media question of the week is this: what is your favorite Christmas song?
I like "Come All You Faithful."
Nice, traditional.
Yeah. What about you guys?
You know what? Mine is actually the version of "Carol of the Bells" that Trans-Siberian Orchestra does, but there's also NSYNC's "Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays" that I love.
I'm more of a.
The first one was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I got the Mannheim Steamroller / Straight No Chaser along with the classics is where I'm at.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Trans-Siberian thing would be pretty cool to have tonight or Tuesday night from warming up to.
That's what somebody needs to help pull that off.
Yeah, can we get that done?
I'm probably not.
Scotty, thank you for taking the time to join us today, and good luck against the Bulldogs tonight.
All right, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
That's Scott Gamber, head coach of the Mountford and Rams. His team 4-5-3 on the year, 2-1 the South 7. They beat Cahokia last night by a final of 58-24. 254. We'll talk with Mount Vernon Lady Rams head coach Jeff Lonnon. His team 7-1 on the year, looking for win number 8 today at Freeburg. We'll have that game on WMIX FM. 2:20 is your assumed pregame today on WMIX and WMIXsports.com. Just tripped myself up. Saturday Sports Show is presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Have you ever stopped to think about how much time we do not have during the day? Hi, Roy Schmidt, Ford dealer at Ford Square and Chrysler dealer at King City Chrysler, Mount Vernon. How often do you forget to make that phone call for an oil change or to schedule a tune-up? I'm excited to tell you that you can schedule your service appointments online at Ford Square and King City Chrysler. Whether the workday is too chaotic to pick up the phone or basketball practice just won't allow you to stop by, we have you covered. Log on to FordSquare.com or KingCityChrysler.com to schedule your service appointment. Or, if you prefer to hear a friendly voice, feel free to call us anytime. We've made amazing quality service unbelievably easy at Ford Square and King City Chrysler Center, Mount Vernon. You can count on us. Also, find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Hi, this is Nina Reitnauer, Relationship Banker with People's National Bank in Mount Vernon. People's National Bank is focused on providing the best possible customer service and products to meet the needs of our customers. If you aren't receiving the products and services you desire, maybe it's time to make a change. Change the name of your bank for the last time and make the switch to People's National Bank.
People's National Bank, serving Southern Illinois since 1909. Member FDIC, wireless carrier fees may apply.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Glad to have you with us, courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
And we welcome to the program now head coach of the 7-1 Mount Vernon Lady Rams, 3-0 in the South 7 Conference, Jeff Lonnon. Coach, good morning.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
You know what, doing pretty good. You're doing great. You're 7-1 on the season, got a big win. What night was that? Was that Tuesday night? It was Tuesday night against Carbondale.
Yep, that was Tuesday.
You did it without your leading scorer, Haley Lockhart, and just like we talked about with the Rams last night against Cahokia, they did it as a team. You're without your leading scorer, but everybody stepped up. Everybody had some sort of, I think just about all your starters were in the book, and everybody stepped up, and I thought that was key against a team like Carbondale who was ready to step up and get you.
It was, and, we had great balance. We had 4 kids in double digits, and then, the fifth one steps in, it gets 9, so that's probably the best we've had all year long, and then balance is really, really tough. I mean, if you get 4 or 5 kids that can score like that, it just becomes very difficult for the defensive standpoint to really pick and choose who you got to pressure and who you can slack off of and all those things, So we hope to continue that balance today at Freeburg for sure. We think that our defense is pretty good right now. I mean, I think we've gotten a lot better at that. I think we continue to get better at that, and if we can have that kind of offensive balance, it really helps us.
A non-conference affair, long road trip over on 15, or at least whatever route you're going to take. A team in between conference games. How do you get your girls up for this to get ready to go on the Saturday afternoon kind of a game?
Just working on them for the last 2 days. I mean, we've not talked about Carbondale or the previous game against Centray or anything that's happened in the past. We've just put them out on the court and we just started talking about Freeburg and our motto is just one at a time and we have I think it was a Wednesday. We just had complete shooting practice. We just shot. In all kinds of different little shooting drills and did a few other little things. We didn't talk about them then, but then Thursday we said we're going to work on Freeburg, and that's what we did. And Friday we kind of reviewed Freeburg, and today we'll go play Freeburg. So, we just, that's the game at task, that's the game on hand, and that's the game we worked on. So, I think they will play well. I hope anyway. We haven't had a great run over there. The last 2 times we've gone, maybe we've just been there once, but the last time we were over there, I think we had a flu bug going on, and it was not a pretty sight. And then we didn't play very well, and I'm hoping to go there and play a much cleaner and better game today than we did the last time, and we've certainly worked 2 days on them. So I would anticipate anyway that they'll be ready to go.
Of course, Freeburg and the Lady Rams at 1 o'clock JV start today. The pregame will be about 2:20 on WMIX FM, audio online at WMIXsports.com. But a big game today, no doubt. But you have another big game that we really won't be able to talk to you about beforehand at Marion on Tuesday night as you ladies travel down there looking for another conference win. But then have action again on Thursday against Heron. It's going to be a busy stretch of nights for the Lady Rams before Christmas with Marion and Heron.
Yeah, and the kind of the underlying story to those two games would be, those are two teams in our regional, and we want to make sure that we take care of business there because if we want the the number one seed in our regional, we certainly can't trip and fall versus Marion or Heron. So I'm kind of selling those two games in that manner to our kids. And kind of just touched on that yesterday when I was talking at the end of practice about, the regional and your seed is only going to be as good as, how you do against those teams in the regular season. And so that's kind of how we're going to sell those. And I think they're very excited about their regional placement. And, hopefully it's such a long way away, but you're already playing games now that have kind of ramifications for that seeding process now here in December.
Now, with girls basketball been going on a little longer, the grind is starting to kick in. Do you start seeing that kind of grind, the mental fatigue, more than the physical fatigue at this time of year in a season?
Well, I think it depends on how you handle them. I think that it's very important that you go in and you do the work that you need to do. And then I think, I've always said this. I said this. I've been asked this before. I think you guys asked me this last year about this same time. Somebody did anyway. And I think you go in and you do the work that you need to do. And I don't think you just stay just for the fact that you need to stay. I think you just do what you can and you get the work done. And there's no reason to stay if there's nothing left to do. And I try to really be conscious about that. I try to give them a day off once in a while when I can, and I try to just not make them. I think it's the mental grind probably toward the end more than so it is the physical grind when you get down into February, and I think you want them hungry and wanting more of basketball in February as opposed to being sick of it and wanting it to be over. And I think there are situations where, with some teams that if you don't kind of pace them along the way, then, they can get in those situations where they just, mentally they get drained. And I've always said it's kind of like, it's kind of like a racehorse. When you watch the Kentucky Derby, if you run that thing too hard, in that first part of that race, then what happens in the end? You just watch him fade down the backstretch. And I think it's very important that you have some sort of a sense of what their fuel tank is, mentally and physically as you go along. And I think it's important, when to lay off and when to push. And so you have to have kind of a sense of that. And it's because you want your racehorse charging in the end, for sure, toward that finish line. So that's what we try to do. That may all sound corny, but I think there's some validity to it, especially, when you think about what your ultimate prize is at the end and wanting them to be fresh physically and mentally.
Our final question, of course, our WMIX Sports social media question of the week, and this week is, what is your favorite Christmas song?
Blue Christmas, Elvis.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
That doesn't surprise me in the least bit, though.
Well, Elvis, I'm a big Elvis guy. Elvis is, I'm sold on Elvis. I was an Elvis fan as a kid, and I can remain an Elvis fan as an adult. So as soon as you said that, I had to immediately go to Elvis, and then I had to immediately think about Christmas, and I came up with Blue Christmas. So yeah, that is my favorite Christmas song.
Solid choice. We've also had another local coach come up with that on Twitter, so that's a good choice, Lonnon. Good luck today against Freeburg, and we will talk to you again real soon.
Okay, guys. Hey, thanks a lot, and we'll see you later.
That's Chef Lonnon, head coach of the Lady Rams. His team plays at 1 o'clock with a JV start at Freeburg, on the air about 2:20 or 2:15, 2:30, approximate times, of course, on WMIX FM and WMIXsports.com. We'll take a break here on the Saturday Sports Show. Come back with Woodlawn Cardinals head coach Shane Witzel, courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Back after the...
Let's be thankful that it's time for high school hoops. Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, president of Community First Bank. From the turkey tourneys to postseason glory, WMIX and WMIXsports.com have all the action of Mount Vernon Rams and Lady Rams basketball. Find a full slate of games and watch most of the action online at WMIXsports.com or keep your dial tuned to WMIX for Mount Vernon Rams and Lady Rams basketball. Powered by Community First Bank. Welcome back to Personal Banking. Member FDIC.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital with our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Glad to have you aboard for the ride, courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Big win on rivalry night last night at Woodlawn. Easy for me to say. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski and Mike Richardson. Shane Witzel, now head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals, joins us after a big win last night over Waltonville, 58-46, I believe was the final on that one. It was on AM 940 and WMIXsports.com. Coach Witzel, good morning.
Good morning.
You know what? One of those nights, you guys honor the state championship team from a year ago. Big environment, big atmosphere, of course, with the Waltonville Spartans coming to town, and the Cardinals seemed to use that enthusiasm to pull off a big MTC victory last night.
Yeah, I felt like we played pretty well, and our defensive pressure really created a lot of offense for us, and we were able to get some steals and some turnovers out of that, and got some easy baskets in transition, and that's always helpful to get you going offensively.
Speaking of getting you going, when you guys walked out there as a team and the cheerleaders and everything, and you sit there and you walk out, is it still kind of looking at that trophy going, wow, that really did happen even at this point?
Well, I said this last night, I think it'll mean more later in time. You know, right now your focus is on this season,
right.
and I think as time grows, it'll mean more and more. But it just seems like at this point in time, you know, we're so focused on last night's game, and not that you don't enjoy it, and we wanted our kids to have that experience, and let our fans have the opportunity to have that experience as well. And so it was a good opportunity for that group and for our community to recognize the special occurrence that happened here last year. But like I said, I really think it'll mean more to those guys as they get older.
These Waltonville Woodlawn games, you've been involved with them as a player and coach, and you get into them, and it just took on another same form as all these games in the past. The first 2 or 3 minutes, everybody's so wound up on adrenaline, nobody can do anything, and then everything settles down, and some player out of the blue that nobody thinks about comes in and gives that team a lift and spurs the team forward, and that was Ty Coleman for you last night.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you know, he's capable of going on some stretches where he could score and shoot a little bit, and he was wide open. So, you know, to be a good team, you need to be able to have some players step in and make some open shots, and not only that, by hitting a couple threes there, was his defensive pressure was huge. He had a couple good picks where he got some layups going the other way, and yeah, he gave us a big boost there early in the quarter. He hit a couple threes, and that really extended their defense, and Gabe gets a lot of focus of everybody's defense, and deservedly so, and that's what you need is some other players to be willing to step in and make some open shots, and we're trying to do a better job of seeing the floor better and making the right pass, and we did that a few times where they were cheating out, and we were able to find Logan underneath the basket for some easy scores as well, and So we have to take advantage of those opportunities with the way teams are guarding us.
Took advantage, I thought, very well last night. The defense, to me, at times, suffocating because whatever Waltonville got at times, it was hard earned. And I thought the defense really took Waltonville out of their game, especially handling the basketball. It seemed Waltonville struggled mightily when the defense really got turned on and going last night.
Well, that was kind of the idea, was to try to make it difficult for them to get down the court and use our depth some and our athleticism some and try to disrupt their flow in the half court, because if you allow them to run their sets and get into a rhythm offensively, they can put some points up. So we really want to try to disrupt that flow offensively and not let them run any of their sets. And we did a pretty good job of that for most of the game and made things difficult for them to get some good open looks. We kept them off the boards pretty well too for the most part, and just felt like our kids really battled, particularly on the defensive end. And Chris Harlow, sometimes a lot of things he does goes unnoticed, but he's a very smart, heady player, and a few times some things we had talked about as far as switching out screens, and he took advantage of those opportunities and got some steals for layups going the other way.
One more game before Christmas, Weber Township at home Tuesday. Then the holiday tournament at Sesser, number 1 seed, opened up with Alvarado in the bottom bracket. How did you think the pairings came out as you thought they would?
You never really know in those. It's early in the season. It's hard to seed those, and I never find that a very enjoyable experience myself trying to seed those teams for that tournament. And this year's not much different than many others. I mean, there's some really quality teams, and I think it's going to be a really competitive tournament because there's so many evenly matched teams. You can go 1 through, make the argument 9, maybe even 10. With Sesser even being probably a 9 or 10 seed. I mean, they're on their home floor and they got a quality team. So, they're an unseeded team this year. So that kind of tells you about the depth of the tournament. And of course, we've seen New Athens and they're an 8 seed and have a lot of respect for the way they play the game and how they do things. And so that kind of gives you some idea about the depth of the tournament, and I look forward to be a lot of competitive games.
We'll give you our final question, our WMIX Sports social media question of the week, and this week's question is, what is your favorite Christmas song?
Ooh, favorite Christmas song. Probably Christmas Wish from Amy Grant. I think that's what it's called.
That is. Solid choice.
Hey, I would like to throw in that Gabe Owens scored his 1,000th career point last night, and it was right at the end of the game, and it was on a free throw. I think it was the last 2 that he shot, and so that's quite an accomplishment for him individually. But he's the kind of kid. He's a special kind of kid. He deflects the attention, and I don't think he really had any idea. And I normally don't tell him something like that, and so whenever I told him about it, he didn't even act like it was a big deal or anything, which, that's just the kind of kid he is. He's a team player. It's all about the team trying to get the win, and that's the kind of player that you enjoy coaching, and he's the kind of player that makes the team better because of the things he does. I mean, he gets a lot of attention for how well he can shoot the basketball, but there's a lot of things that he does on the court that makes us successful, and so I'm just happy for him and his family. He's worked really hard to make himself into a pretty good player.
Excellent. Congratulations to Gabe Owens. Good choice on the Christmas song. And, Coach, we look forward to seeing you again, probably in Sesser.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks. That's Shane Witzel, head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals. Of course, the Cardinals got a big win last night over Waltonville, 58-46. That was on AM 940, WMIXsports.com. That archive should be up shortly, uploading right now as we speak, to try to get that on WMIXsports.com today. We'll take a break here on the Saturday Sports Show. Come back with C.J. Cruser, head coach of the Waterloo Bulldogs. Courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time at a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital with our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
You're looking for a great quality SUV to get you through the winter, right? Well, Second Chance Auto has never had a better selection. Find SUVs from small to medium to large. Four-wheel drive models, too. Their inventory has never been better. Cars, trucks, vans, and many priced under $10,000. Instant approval with honest deals on great vehicles. Most have a 3-month or 3,000-mile warranty. And there's bank rate financing for everyone. Make this your best year with a quality SUV from Second Chance Auto. Route 142 East in Mount Vernon. Call 244-4582.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. Glad to have you aboard. Of course, the Mount Vernon Rams battle the Waterloo Bulldogs tonight. You can catch that online at WMIXSports.com with video or listen to WMIX FM 94.1. Pre-game, we're going to assume about 7:15 tonight. We welcome to the program head coach of those aforementioned Waterloo Bulldogs, C.J. Cruser. Coach Cruser, good morning.
Good morning.
You know what? A good early start to the season for the Bulldogs. Have a game last night against Marissa. Now you come to Mount Vernon, of course, former stomping grounds for you, of course. How does it feel to be making that return back to Chagnon Gym?
Well, first of all, I don't know why the schedule was like that, but we did not play Marissa last night.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, I think what happened is they had an opponent last year that could not bring a JV team. So they called us to see if we could play a JV game against them that evening, and we were able to. So for some reason, it got put on the schedule this year again. So I'm not sure what happened with that, but no, we didn't. We did not play them. But regardless, going back to Mount Vernon, I'm looking forward to it. It'll kind of be a mixed emotion deal. You know, this will be the first time I'll be in Chagnon and literally not rooting for the Rams. So that will be different, and it'll be emotional. I'm sure. You know, my dad will be looking over tonight, watching, and being very proud of the situation. The fact that I would have never thought that I'd be coaching in Chagnon Gymnasium, and I'm pretty sure that he would have never thought that either. But that's the case. So it will be interesting. I even told my kids at practice this week because only one of them made the trip 2 years ago. That actually has even stepped on that floor. I told him, I said, I don't know if this is true or not, but there's a good chance that I've probably attempted the most shots in that gym over the years. When I went to the games with my dad, I went to every game I could go to anytime I got a chance to. And I brought my ball with me and shot for as long as I could until they ran me off the floor before the game started. And then begged Dad to go up to the gym and shoot all the time that I could. So spent a lot of time in that gym, and it is historic. And I actually went back to it to watch the Rams last night, and it's gotten even older over the years. So it was old to begin with, but it's even gotten older. So it's still a unique place.
I got to look at your schedule. You're off to a good start at this point, 4-3, 3 wins in a row, 3 of your last 4. Jerseyville, Freeburg, Triad, lost a tough one to Jabot, but this Waterloo team is starting to round into shape here this year.
Yeah, we actually the guys we have returning back are probably were my skilled guys from last year, my more offensive guys, and the guys that graduated were my defensive-minded guys. So I thought the defense, it would take us a little more time to get roundabout and the game shape, but we've done a pretty good job with that. They've taken that challenge pretty well, these guys. But offensively, I still think we're still having some of the same issues we had last year, even though I feel like we've got some individual better offensive skilled players out there. But as a team, we haven't executed as well as I would like to so far, which, if we'd executed a little better, I think we'd have had a win on Tuesday. The other 2 losses, we didn't execute in one of them, but we weren't going to win that game. We just were handed a beat down, so to speak, by Highland. We've had trouble playing them, and then that was the first game of the year. We went in there and battled with them for the first half, and I was very pleased with that. And then finally, this pure talent won out in the second game. But right now we're not scoring a lot of points, but we're holding our opponents to a low number. So that's given us a chance to be in the games, and so we'll take our chances there. And the right night, we hit the right amount of shots, we can win some games.
Speaking of winning games, you open up with your tournament beginning of the year. You go to Columbia, Freeburg, the holiday tournament. But I look at it this way for 3A Waterloo. How hard is it for you guys over there to find games or find different tournaments? You're not running in the same 3A schools all the time.
Well, actually, the tournament problem hasn't really been an issue, but because we're playing in tournaments that would probably be more 1A and 2A oriented, which is not great for our program, but yet on the same token, I'm not going to get us out of those tournaments until we start winning those tournaments. I mean, if we're going and playing against a bunch of 1A and 2A teams and we're not winning, then we probably don't need to even be moving into somewhere else, for tournament-wise. There's bigger tournaments that we could be in and we probably need to be in one of these days, but until we start winning those, then we really don't need to be getting out of those. So we haven't ran into too many conference teams, so to speak, in our tournaments, which has been fortunate. However, we're going to that Freeburg Holiday tournament, and both teams that are in our pool are from Monroe County, so that'll be interesting. And if we win that and get to the semifinals the next day, I'm sure we'll see Jabot again. So we won't leave Monroe County, so to speak, to get those first games in. But it's okay. I mean, I really can't complain about the tournaments we're in. We are seeing different opponents, maybe not the level we would like them at. I mean, but we have no business going to a Carbondale tournament, a Centralia tournament, a Council Snooks tournament. We're just not there yet. So we still need the confidence to win some games yet.
Looking at, for our listeners here, we have Waltonville, Woodlawn, Mount Vernon, Centralia, Waterloo, Jabot. How fierce of a rivalry is that over there for those two schools?
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know necessarily it's fierce, but the kids just know each other so well, and they've been playing with each other since elementary school. And Jabot doesn't have a fall sport that conflicts with too many things other than golf. So, and the few guys I have that don't play football or play fall sport, we usually have open gyms together in the fall, and we'll have them in the spring together as well. And we play each other a lot in the summer. We do the same with the Columbia kids that aren't playing sports. So we just know each other so well. The kids know each other so well. But however, the kids do want to beat each other. I mean, they do have that, but they're pretty friendly. But I think the townspeople, I think it's more of a rival for them than it is anything else. For us to beat Columbia and us to beat Jabot, that makes everybody's day around here, more so than the kids even. I mean, the kids want it just for bragging rights in the county and in the town, but us and Jabot, Jabot's at 1A right now, but I don't look at them as a 1A program. They've been at 2A for an ever, and they got good players. They got really good players, and I don't really look at it that way. I look at it as another tough opponent, and that's the way it's always been. We were fortunate to beat them twice last year, and we didn't get them this year. We'll hopefully get the team again, but it's a rivalry, but it's nothing like Vernon Centralia. Not even close. It's nothing like Waltonville, Woodlawn, just because things can get crazy at those games. They don't really get crazy at the Jabot Waterloo game. Nothing gets crazy. Nashville, Pinckneyville, even. I was in the Nashville Pinckneyville game when supposedly all the Pinckneyville people thinks we turned out the lights.
Supposedly, they still say you did.
There. That was back in 06, or 05 even. No, it was 06. So we had all kinds of things like that happen. Nothing like that's going to happen in the Jabot Waterloo game. It's pretty friendly. So it's just a...
There's no supposed to that light deal. They know you guys did.
Oh, okay. Well, there may be some truth to that, but I have nothing to do with that. I was on the bench at the time, so we must have communicated very well with our custodians to hit that switch at the right time.
Coach, obviously, you mentioned earlier that you're only bringing one kid back that has set foot into Shagnon Gymnasium. Tell us a little bit about some of the players the fans here in Mount Vernon can expect to see tonight on the floor for you guys.
Well, we got the defending high jump champion coming into Shagnon tonight, 6'7" Justin Kretschmer. He's very gifted when it comes to his jumping ability. He's 6'7", but he only weighs 185 pounds, and that's probably what helps him in the high jump so well. However, it's not as conducive for him in the post, so sometimes he can be pushed around in there a little bit, but he's done a good job. When I got here 2 years ago, he wasn't playing much. He didn't get much playing time at all. He was just a long, wiry kid, and didn't get a lot of playing time. He hadn't played a lot of basketball, so he's developed quite a bit. He had a nice summer this summer. He really turned some heads, but he's still learning and growing as a player. I think his ceiling is still growing. But you'll see him, and hopefully he can have a good night. We got a returning leading scorer from last year. He's recovering from ACL injury, and he's had a tough start. beginning of the year with the injury. It's all factors. Him not playing basketball for 6 months. So, he's never went 6 months in his life without playing basketball. So he's still trying to shake the rust off. And then we've got a pretty quick point guard that played a lot of basketball and soccer all his life, and he likes to get the ball down the floor. It doesn't always work out that way, but he likes to get the ball on the floor. So he can be exciting and dynamic at times, and he'll be there at night. So, those are my offensive skilled guys that I'm bringing back from last year. So we're trying to gel all those guys with, everybody that's coming back that can do different things on the court. So those are, we got some size. We got 6'3", 6'7" in the post, and the 6'3", he's a little stronger kid, bulkier kid in there, but can finish around the basket pretty well. So we do have a lot of size compared to most teams we play, and but we're like compared to the Rams, we're gonna have more size than them in the post, but on the perimeter we're going to be equally as small as they are on the perimeter. So definitely no advantage there at all.
Our final question today is our WMIX Sports social media question of the week, and it is, what is your favorite Christmas song?
Favorite Christmas song? I thought you were going to ask me about the Cowboys like you did last year.
We can talk about them as soon as you give us that answer.
I just assume not, because it's been another rough fall for me. But,
yes, I agree.
Yeah, it's tough at school because nobody else is a Cowboy fan. They let me know on Mondays when they don't win. So very few times do I get to say anything back to them. But favorite Christmas song?
Yes.
Well, I guess I'd have to go back to my Franklin Elementary School days when the music was required once a week. So when we went there, I guess I probably enjoyed Silver Bells, singing that the most, to be honest with you. Why? I don't know. I just do. So I'll remember that from my grade school days. So I guess I'll go with that one, just to reminisce back with the old Mount Vernon days, with the game being in Mount Vernon tonight.
Hopefully those silver helmets can help us out tomorrow and get a win against Pittsburgh at home. Maybe keep the drive alive.
That's true. That's true. That would be nice. And there are Steeler fans in our building over here at Waterloo, so I will be hearing about it Monday if they lose. So I'm hoping they win.
Very nice, Coach. We look forward to having you back in Mount Vernon tonight. We'll see you then.
I appreciate it. Thank you much, guys. We'll see you.
That's C.J. Cruser, head coach of the Waterloo Bulldogs, former Mount Vernon native, Nashville assistant, Collinsville assistant, now at Waterloo. We'll see him tonight. 7:15 will be your pregame on WMIX FM, video online at WMIXsports.com. We hope you'll join us. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter. We're on Facebook as well. You can even find our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. What is your favorite Christmas song? Christmas carol, Christmas song, Christmas hit, Christmas classic, Christmas favorite? All of the above. Check it out, WMIXsports.com. We'll give you access to that on Facebook and Twitter. We'll take a break on the Saturday Sports. When we come back, plenty more talk coming your way in hour number 2. Presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Hi, this is Joe Gliosi, commercial banker for People's National Bank in beautiful Mount Vernon, Illinois. People's National Bank has served local businesses and farmers for over 100 years. With a wide variety of deposit and loan products, we have all your banking needs covered. From opening or expanding a business to purchasing a farm implement for the upcoming season, People's National Bank is here to help. Stop by today and let us show you what a true community bank can do for you. People's National Bank, serving Southern Illinois farmers and businesses since 1909. Member FDIC.
This is WMIX, Mount Vernon, Marion, another Withers Broadcasting Station.
The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois proudly welcomes Dr. Brian Steinke to their medical staff. Dr. Steinke earned his medical degree at the University of Illinois in Chicago and has degrees in anatomy and physiology from UC Berkeley, and he brings prestigious credentials to the center. Dr. Steinke is a gifted physician and contributor to orthopedic textbooks. Call 618-242-3778 or visit their informative website at orthocenter-si.com.
Are you interested in a career in the culinary arts but can never afford the high cost of cooking school? Rend Lake College has a low-cost recipe for success. For as little as $5,500 per year, you can get a quality culinary arts education in your own backyard. That even includes books, tuition, class fees, and supplies. Learn to master domestic fare, pastry, and foreign cuisine in Ina, Illinois. Save thousands on a culinary arts education at Rend Lake College. For more information, log on to rlc.edu/culinary-arts.
And we're glad to have you back from the Powerhouse on Broadway. This is WMIX and WMIXsports.com. It's your Saturday Sports Show as we head into hour number 2, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Plenty more to come here in your second hour. We'll have Bob Waggoner, head coach of the Pinckneyville Panthers. Clint Winemiller, the AD at Hamilton County, also your Lady Foxes head basketball coach, will join us, but not to talk about the Lady Foxes, believe it or not. We might delve into that briefly, but Jerry Sloan Gymnasium is going to be the new name of the Hamilton County High School. Make that McLeansboro High School Gymnasium today. They're going to honor Jerry Sloan, NBA head coach, longtime head coach of the Jazz, of course, former Chicago Bull, Evansville Ace, I believe, if I remember correctly. But obviously, I think it's a huge honor to be recognized by your high school, especially to have the gymnasium named after you.
Oh, he'll get a kick out of that, and he's such a good guy. I got to know him several years ago, done quite a bit of radio work with his first wife, Bobby, and had a great rapport with her, and then got to know Jerry quite well during his travels and days in the NBA, coaching the Utah Jazz, and what a guy he was. The first time I met him, he was actually still playing with the Bulls, and he was doing some clinics around in the area in the summertime. So a good guy, and he will enjoy this, and the people in McLeansboro should be out in droves tonight.
I can't tell you. Obviously, I go around many of our stations in our company, and I'm down in Benton a lot, the flagship at Dana Communications. And there's pictures all over the place of candid photos, whether it be Christmas parties, social functions that stations participated in, things like that. Obviously, whether it's broadcasting Dana Communications, longtime supporters of the Hand in Hand Foundation with Bobby and Jerry Sloan. And the pictures that crack me up the most are ones that might have, when he was coach of the Jazz, Carl Malone might be there.
Sure.
But it'll be Jerry and Carl Malone, and, of course, the lovely Dana Withers, who, if you know, not the tallest, but she's no Alton Giant by any means. So it's just they're awesome pictures and great to see. But just a great human being, and that's probably the thing I take away more than his basketball prowess. It's just the type of human being that he is. The fact that he does not shy away from his native McLeansboro, given that he clearly went on to bigger, larger areas. And they're going to recognize him for that today. And so that'll be a great thing to talk with Clint Winemiller about. And just the fact that McLeansboro does hold on and appreciate their own. They don't forget about them. They hold on to them.
I like to say you can always go home. And he had the farm at home and always came back and was good to the community. Nobody's going to say 100%. Some of the funding there at the high school probably came from some gentleman that might have formerly coached in the NBA, and that's all nice and concealed info. So, but he has always been giving. It's just the type of person him and his family have been, and what an honor it is. And wish it could be there tonight for sure.
Well, no doubt about that. Of course, we are behind. We need to get you some scores, of course, as we bring you the scores from WMIXsports.com. Scoreboard, of course, at 8:15 and 9 o'clock. We're about 9 minutes past that, but we'll catch up with, of course, the scores for the WMIXsports.com scoreboard.
Oh, wrong click. Here we go. At the Conrad Allen tournament last night, it's Weber over Grayville, 49-37. Edwards County beat Crab Orchard 74-44, and Sisney beat Thompsonville 68-48. Mount Vernon beat Koki in overtime on FM 58-54, while on the AM, Woodlawn beat Waltonville 58-46. Altoff beat Cardinals 75-73, and Centralia beat Marion 63-50. Black Diamond SV over Christopher 49-48. Hamco over Carmi 46-44. Fairfield over Vienna 63-51. JC beat El Dorado 65-47. Chester over Trico 55-53. River to River, Ohio, Harrisburg over Massac 72-46. Heron over Frankfurt 73-35, and Murphy beat Benton 45-27. Mississippi, Pinckneyville over AJ 67-45. Sparta over Duquesne 50-38. Nashville beat Carterville 50-41. In COE beat Hardin County 56-42. Carrier Mills beat Pope County 58-44. Meridian beat Shawnee 97-41. Belleville East over O'Fallon 64-43. Belleville West over Eastside 74-72. Alton beat Collinsville 50-47. Edwardsville beat Granite City 76-53. Highland over Triad 37-33. Bethalto over Roxana 49-43. And Jerseyville beat Piasaw Southwestern 56-39. Carlisle over Central 40-37 for the Indians. New Athens beat Lebanon 50-44. And Columbia beat Freiburg 41-40. Mater Dei beat Quincy Notre Dame in an independent non-conference matchup 56-49. Robinson over Lawrenceville 81-54. Casey beat Red Hill 68-37. Charleston over Paris 65-53. And Dietrich beat St. Anthony 65-61.
Of course, that's a look at your scoreboard from WMIXsports.com. Check it out. Scores, video archives, video highlights, you name it, it's on there. WMIX Sports broadcast schedule. You'll find that as well. We need to take a break on the Saturday Sports Show. When we come back, we'll welcome Pinckneyville Panthers head coach Bob Waggoner. It'll be a lot of fun. The Saturday Sports Show, courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
We all remember staying up all night studying for those math tests. Many of us remember the Dodge Dart. Hi, Roy Schmidt, Dodge dealer at King City Chrysler Center, Mount Vernon. So what happens when you add the interior spaciousness of a midsize sedan plus class-leading 60 safety and security features and multiply them by up to 3 state-of-the-art powertrains with engines boasting up to 41 miles per gallon highway? You get the 2013 Dodge Dart. The Dodge is back with Dodge passion and designed with Alfa Romeo DNA. Come see the all-new Dodge Dart SE at King City Chrysler, starting at just $18,995. Or log on to kingcitychrysler.com to see all of our new and pre-owned inventory. There is something for everyone here at King City Chrysler Center at 1603 Broadway in Mount Vernon, Illinois, and also find us on Twitter and Facebook.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital with our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Glad to have you with us. We welcome to the program now. Of course, we appear courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
As you take a drink. I'm always
nice.
My timing is always perfect. Chris Hugo, Danny Zerwinski, Mike Richardson was with us this morning.
It's like you were a waiter at one point in life.
Well, I was in food service to put myself through college. Right. Thank you. So we welcome the head coach now of the Pinckneyville Panthers, Bob Waggoner. Coach, good morning.
Glad to be here. I just didn't know if Danny was going to give a tip or not.
I give tips.
No, he is notoriously a horrible tipper.
You know,
I can vouch. He does not tip well.
You've taught me long ago. I got to take care of those. Now, come on, man. So how's the Panthers? The Panthers are off to a nice start, finishing second at the Capital Classic and get a big win in the renovated Danny home away from home Thomas Gymnasium last night.
Well, it was just nice to finally play a game at home. Seems like we've been sort of road warriors, and plus, getting Dylan Harden starting to get closer and closer to being 100%. It helps, and we just have really been trying to piece things together so far this season, and I'm very pleased with where we are right now.
I want to ask, because Pinckneyville's been one of those, kind of like West Frankfort over the years, they always start out with a regular season game rather than playing in a tournament. What was the change of mind this year to switch off and go to a tournament at the Co-Kid Classic to start the season?
Well, there's a couple reasons. First of all, that's my hometown. And they're building a new high school, and I wanted our kids to go in there and see a little bit of the history of basketball at Lawrenceville and let them know that, there's other places in the state that have had tradition and have new facilities that are going to be updated and to play other people. And, I've always, as a coach, wanted to take a team and try to get them out and fans and let them see some things and a different style of play maybe a little bit, or even just to be with your kids and bond a little bit. And we're an inexperienced team. And I sort of just wanted to see how they would react to that early in the year. And, there's one or two things that happen. Either work out well for you, or it can put you in sort of a behind the eight ball at the beginning of the season. And coming out of there with 3-1 and finishing second, and a lot of kids have experience that haven't had a lot of varsity experience really proved to be good for us so far.
That's what I look at. 25 wins last season, a sectional finalist. And you come back and you get out of the gate quick with these wins and everything. It's a tribute to you and your coaching staff, the fact that you're bringing the kids along that are green at the varsity level with a kid out with injury to get through. That's a compliment to you and your staff.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a compliment to our kids. Our kids work extremely hard. It's not easy, practicing like we do and to do the things that we try to get them to do to be successful. We put a lot of heat on our kids in practice. I think whenever you do that, then the games are easier for them. And we just wanted to test them early. And, the goal is always to try to win the conference and try to, play your best basketball in February. We thought it would be very important to get the type of start we've had off to push us towards that.
Speaking of conference, seems to me, it's been Pinckneyville, Nashville all the time in Mississippi, back and forth, with an occasional DuQuoin in there. But this year, is the river to river as balanced on the Mississippi side as you've seen since you've been at Pinckneyville?
It's pretty balanced, but realistically, Nashville's the favorite. They returned 5 kids that played varsity basketball last year, and they have good size. It's one of those things that they're probably a little bit better than everybody right now. But at the same time, there's much more balance from top to bottom than what there has been.
Looking on in about a week or so, week and a half, the Dexter Thomas Hoops Classic, one of my favorite tournaments of the season, opens up, expanding from 8 to 12 teams this year with the new school, the new auxiliary gym, all the abilities to put on more games and more stuff. The thought of going from 8 to 12 teams for this Classic.
Well, just, an exciting thing to bring in, basketball teams from as far as Chicago, all the way from across to Jerseyville, and then all the way over to Lawrenceville on the other side of the state towards Indiana, and then all the way down to Southern Illinois. It's just that for 2 days, if you want to see all sorts of different styles of play and teams and quality basketball, and the nice thing for a fan from Southern Illinois, and then there, if you're a local team, you're going to get a chance to play people that you would never see. And you're going to have an opportunity to be in a new facility and to watch good teams play, and I think it's going to be a benefit for our tournament and for the fans.
It's a showcase, actually, for the new school and everything, because fans are going to get a chance to walk to, obviously, Thomas Gym, to the auxiliary gym, get a chance to show off some of the facilities there that have been recently built at Pinckneyville.
Well, it's a beautiful facility. One of the things that even Anna coaches last night were talking about, it's just really nice looking at that building and seeing a new cafetorium and to see the trophy case that displays the past success that we've had, and to walk in the Thomas Gym, and it's so much brighter. It's a nice facility, and we want to get as many people as we can to see it. I'm excited about our tournament because even though we expanded, there's going to be a little bit more time between play for teams, and fans will be able to relax a little bit more, and the coaches, and really prepare for those games. And it's going to be an excellent tournament for a lot of years.
Looking forward to that, but we're also looking forward to your answer to our WMIX Sports social media question of the week, and it is, what is your favorite Christmas song?
Favorite Christmas song? Probably Silent Night.
A traditional, a good choice. We try to make them tough. That's obviously our mission, but Silent Night is a very good traditional choice. And obviously, with the Dexter Thomas Hoops Classic coming off, obviously a lot of basketball left to be had before then even. We do wish you a Merry Christmas, and hopefully we can run into you around the holidays.
I appreciate that, and glad you guys have fun. Anytime we can come on, I'd be more than happy to.
That is very good to know. We will definitely take advantage of that. Coach, good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you. You too.
Of course, I say good luck the rest of the way. I do intend on having him on again, but,
Yeah.
It's a proprietary. I can't say that word, so I'm going to avoid it. Measure.
I know. It's okay.
It happens. We all run into those. I just like to try to say the ones I can. It's a challenge. That said, it'll be a challenge to get to break here as I don't have it pulled up. There we go. Saturday Sports Show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Clint Winemiller next.
The state of denial is a drag and a trial. When I bought my cheap insurance, should have known this day would come. Now I've had an accident and I'm feeling quite alone. Called them at least 20 times, but they won't pick up the phone. Without personal service, my policy's kind of worthless. Get to a better state, State Farm.
Don't deny yourself to call an agent. Tony Wolf in Mount Vernon, 242-1421.
You've heard a lot about the new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center, about the cozy fireplaces in its patient areas, and about its numerous healing gardens and soothing nature-inspired artwork. Now that the new hospital is finished, you can finally see them for yourself. Good Samaritan is hosting tours of the new hospital on Saturday, January 5th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sunday, January 6th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. This isn't your ordinary open house. It's the opportunity to get a behind-the-scenes glimpse of the brand-new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center before it's open to the public in late January. Come see an operating room from the point of view of the surgeon or the new expanded ER and all private patient rooms. Join us at the new facility just off Veterans Memorial Drive in Mount Vernon on January 5th and 6th for complimentary refreshments and to see how we're raising the bar for healthcare in Southern Illinois. You've never seen a hospital like this before. Visit smgsi.com to learn more.
I know you've heard about mortgage rates being all-time lows, but have you done anything about it yet? Hi, I'm Rick Pigg, mortgage lender at Community First Bank. There's never been a better time at buying a home or refinancing an existing mortgage. The sooner you act, the more you save, and we'll be there to help you through every step of the way. For more information, visit us at comfirstbank.net or stop by one of our 5 locations.
Community First Bank with locations in Mount Vernon, Woodlawn, Dix, and Ina. Welcome back to Personal Banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski. We welcome now to the program, courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare is.
We already
do
that once.
No,
Is that the second time we said that?
Third or fourth, who knows?
I'm in during this particular.
No, we're good.
Just, you know what? Either way, we're happy to welcome to the program Hamilton County High School Make That McLeansboro Athletic Director Clint Winemiller. Coach, good morning.
Good morning.
You guys have a very special occasion happening today. You're going to rename your gymnasium, or actually officially name your gymnasium, I should say, after a famed NBA head coach, NBA All-Star, and just great man all around, Jerry Sloan. A pretty big honor for a great man.
Well, yes, sir. This is probably long overdue, but back in August, our Board of Education decided to name the gymnasium after Jerry, and he agreed to that. And so we tried to find a day. We didn't have very many home varsity boys games on a Saturday where his family could all be there. So it just happened to work out that it's against one of our old rivals, El Dorado. So tonight it's going to happen. A lot of plannings went into it. We've had a lot of good people help us, a lot of to take charge. Lavella Craddock, our ex-retired circuit clerk here in Hamilton County, has really spearheaded this. Our booster club, Debbie Rubenacker, Kim Leakey, Sherry Steele, they've done a wonderful job that we're going to have, just Autumn's Pizza, plain and simple, pretty much how Coach Sloan is, laid back, down to earth, but hard-nosed when he comes across that floor. He all the joking aside, he was going to give everything he had.
I got to ask this, because a lot of times, sometimes the younger, as we were kids, and now younger kids, have difficulty or don't look back and see the history and tradition of the school or they're at. Is that something that goes on in Hamilton County, or do the kids of McLeansboro understand, hey, this guy did a lot, and it won't happen like this again for a long time in this area? We have a guy like Jerry Sloan and Doug Collins in the area doing what they're doing now.
Yeah, I agree. Some of our kids knew who he was. He is still a big part of this community. So anytime he got a break, like an all-star break or the summer, you would see him in the streets of McLeansboro driving around. He's done so much for this community, and just like you said, Doug Collins and Jerry Sloan. I mean, what other people have had the opportunities they've had, high school, collegiately, and then on to the NBA, and the people they have been around. It's just from 2 small towns that are 20 miles apart is just amazing. Rivals. And have made such a difference. And Jerry's done a wonderful job. Just a few things that he's done in the community. He helped to finance a greenhouse here at the school, a kids' kingdom out at a park by our swimming pool. He helped to do the track that we now have in Hamilton County, and a little place where him and his late wife Bobby used to go out and walk at Dolan's Lake. There's a path out there named after both of them. Just little things like that, and those are just things that come to the top of my head. But he's been a tremendous asset here to the community, to the NBA world, and man, he's just lived a dream, or at least for us that have never had an opportunity to do that. He is just it's pretty amazing.
I look at this, too, tonight. Obviously, all McLeansboro and Hamilton County, a lot of people from around the area will be showing up. But any idea of dignitaries and players maybe he's coached or coaches he's worked with, or people coming into McLeansboro just for this occasion because it is Jerry Sloan?
We've heard of a lot of rumors. Nothing official, like the Carl Malones and John Stockton. I know his longtime assistant Phil Johnson's going to be here. A lot of people that he played with at Evansville, I believe, are going to make the trek over. Some people from Chicago. I apologize for not being able to give you names, but a lot of these people just kind of decide on the day of whether they're going to come or not. We're planning a little reception. It was an invitation only, And I think as of yesterday, there were 360 replies to that. Now, a lot of that is family members, so, like I said, lots of rumors where I've heard Senator Hatch, the owner of the Jazz, maybe Frank Layden, one of the assistants. Jerry was his assistant before he took over the Jazz, so, lots of rumors, but nothing I could really tell you for sure that, yes, they'll be here.
Those names are about as famous as you. You're mentioned right up in there. I don't know. That's just like as famous as you are, isn't it?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but if you want to, we can work with that and go with that.
Okay,
yeah.
I will. We can do that.
Obviously, the thing we love to do most is catch our guests off guard. Not only do we just do that just then, but we're going to do it hopefully with our WMIX Sports Question of the Week, off topic, of course. Since it's the season, we want to know, what is your favorite Christmas song?
My favorite Christmas song? Frosty the Snowman.
Nice.
Yes. There we go.
So do you like the cartoon as well, or just the song?
If I could sit down and watch the cartoon, I probably would. I didn't like when he went in the heat, though. Melted.
No.
Thank goodness they got him back outside.
Well, at some point, common sense just has to take over. And Frosty, God love him, I don't think he had the equipment upstairs other than that hat to really keep him going for very long.
Yeah, a lot of frozen area there.
Yeah.
Coach, it's a great thing you guys are doing there for Jerry Sloan, and congratulations on being able to make that happen, and we wish you guys the best of luck as that hopefully will go through without any flaws whatsoever tonight.
Oh, I hope so also, and thank you very much for getting it out there. We're very proud to do this. He's a great guy, and I'm glad that the Board of Education and also Jerry have decided to do this. I think it'll be an honor. I think it'll be a tremendous crowd, and hopefully we give them another good game that's as exciting as last night. So it should be a lot of fun.
Should be. Have fun with that, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
All right, anytime.
That is Clint Winemiller, athletic director, head girls basketball coach at McLeansboro High School. For you locals who prefer it to be McLeansboro, we will not go with the IHSA nomenclature here this morning. Bottom of the hour on WMIX Mount Vernon, a free service from Withers Broadcasting. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk with the athletic director of the Mount Vernon Mavericks, Ray Clodi. Of course, the Mavericks are in action today. It's a Special Olympics oriented basketball team and a great program they've put together. Of course, it's coached by Casey Hale and Greg Wood. Ray, of course, is the athletic director. Not only do basketball, they do track and field and bowling as well. We'll talk about that. Ray Clodi coming up after the break here on the Saturday Sports Show. It's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Do you farm or operate an agriculture-based business? Then Community First Bank is for you. Hi, I'm Steve Down, Agribusiness Lending Officer at Community First Bank. With our roots firmly planted in Jefferson County, we offer the stability, strength, and personal attention that you deserve. Community First Bank wants to be your financial partner with customized products for both your personal and farm banking needs. Stop by any of our 5 convenient Jefferson County locations to see how we can help your business grow.
Community First Bank with locations in Mount Vernon, Woodlawn, Dix, and Ina. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital with our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
I literally have no idea what song that just was. Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. It's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
We welcome to the program, very privileged to welcome Ray Clodi. He is the athletic director of the Mount Vernon Mavericks, a Special Olympics program. Of course, they have a basketball tournament today that they're participating in, I believe, in Highland. Ray, good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
Welcome to Saturday Sports Show. It's a great thing that you guys do with the Mavericks. I'm able to follow you guys on Facebook and keep up to date with you that way. But you had approached me about coming on to talk about this, and I have to admit, it was Meet the Team night, Mount Vernon Rams and Lady Rams style, and I thought, why have I not thought about that before? So you have my apologies for it taking so long to make it happen, but we're glad to have you today.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Of course, you guys are in a tournament today at Highland at 1 o'clock. You start this tournament off. But before we delve into that topic, tell us a little bit about how the Mavericks came to be.
It was
really simple. Before I became a teacher here this year, I substitute taught at the Mount Vernon High School. And one day I was in the same classroom as Casey Hale, who was a freshman girls coach. And we got talking, and, we're like, hey, why don't we start our own team? I was involved with the high school team and saw an opportunity to help out a few of the kids that came out of the high school, and young adults. And we put it together, and play our first game today.
Well, and the Mavericks, of course, I believe at that Highland tournament, you play the Cougars out of Swansea at 1 o'clock, and if you win, you go to the winner's bracket at 3. If you lose, the consolation bracket, I'm assuming, at 4. But a pretty nice tournament they have going on there. It's just a great thing overall. But you were able to send me your roster, and these are names that I have seen consistently with successes in Special Olympics and in basketball alike, and you have a pretty loaded roster.
Yes, I'd like to think so. I mean, we only have 7 players, so I explained to them that they're going to do a lot of running. There's not going to be much time on the bench. And we have a lot of guys who are about 19, 20, 25 years old, and we have, I hate to call him out, but our old guy, Tony Hale, he's 35. But everybody, it's a pretty solid crew.
Well, and Tony Hale is a name that's come up frequently, I know, in talking with Rhonda Knight, of course, of the Special Olympics and things that we're doing with that. But just a guy that has been around and seen a lot of success within the Special Olympics, and sounds like he can be kind of your floor general out.
Yes, he's going to be our big guy down low, and everybody else working around him. I do have Tristan White. He just graduated from the high school, and Cameron Peterson as well. And Tony Wood, all recent graduates from the high school. Remember, the guys responsible for bringing the ball down. And Tristan and Cameron, I'd like to say they're going to be a good 1-2 punch with Tony helping out, both Tonys. And I'm really, really happy to see this crew come together. I mean, this will be our first game today, and I'm hoping that we have 2 wins, but we're to be happy with playing.
Of course, I was able to see some of your uniforms and whatnot that you post online, some of your gear. You guys have a really neat logo. Of course, you're on Facebook, MTV Mavericks. But I was looking, you chose to go with Carolina Blue for the uniforms. They do look pretty sharp, all of that aside, of course, in jest. But you guys are going to be dressed well. Hopefully you're going to play well. But you won't just be in this Highland tournament. You play teams from all across the area, and it looks like there's a nice representation from across Illinois, especially Marion and Johnston City.
Yes, that's a little double-header I'm setting up with Marion and Johnson City. There's group homes down there, and don't know anything else about the teams outside of, we're going to set it up and play them on the 29th of this month, either down there or maybe up here in Mount Vernon. We're using the gym at the children's home as our home gym, so if we are in town, I'd love to see a bunch of people out there. Not much, standing room only, literally. Like to see people.
I'd like to ask, how big is this? Is this starting to go through and to go around Southern Illinois with cities and towns coming up with teams?
Yes, of course, bigger around the Chicago area. There's just more people. And my wife, Megan, she started the high school team, I think it's 4 years ago now. And really until that point, it was a few adult teams, and now it's branched off in the high school. She plays Cahokia and a lot of, teams that are, familiar to Mount Vernon Rams fans. And then we're just going to take over and play the adult versions.
Well, and of course, obviously, a project and an undertaking like this can't be cheap. Obviously, I would assume you're, judging by the fact you're selling some merchandise, you're allowing fans to get in on this. What is the best method of supporting the Mavericks program?
Well, I try to get into fundraising. We held a concert at the Crossing earlier this year. We have connections with SBS, their local rap group, and try and do things like that where it's a give and take. You get to come out, see good, have a good time, and yet donate to us. You could also, plain and simple, plain cash works just as well, and they could, get a hold of me at mtvmavericks@gmail.com, or go to our Facebook page, as I said, MTV Mavericks, and get with me, and I can help them with the donation side, or buy merchandise We have T-shirts for $10, long sleeve T-shirts for $20, or the hoodies for $25. And of course, they're in the Carolina blue and charcoal color, and they look sharp on just about anyone.
So who picked out the color combination? Was that you? Was that Megan?
That would be me. After we came up with the team, I was like, I had to come up with a name, had to come up with colors, and the Carolina blue and charcoal really was a good combination that allowed us to use the blue uniforms, and not much more than I just went online and found color combinations and said that looks really good.
It does look nice. I'm looking at your charcoal. It looks like sweatshirt or long sleeve shirt with the Carolina blue Mavericks in it, or actually Mount Vernon Mavericks in Carolina blue trimmed in white. It all looks really good. People need to check it out at MTV Mavericks on Facebook. Even if you don't have Facebook, you can still access it, it looks like. And just a great thing that you guys have put together. I know you're in that tournament today. Your first game for the Mavericks is at 1 o'clock against the Cougars. Where'd you say it? It's in Highland, but where exactly is it again?
It's Highland Middle School.
At the middle school. HMS. That's easy to access.
Yes.
So people need to get on out and watch the Mavericks. Also, the Rams in action at 10 o'clock today. I know they're in the tournament as well, but you can see a lot of Mount Vernon flavor there at Highland today.
Yes, I was last night listening to the game on the radio and got to hear, the overtime and all the amazing play. And my wife Megan's like, well, the Rams beat Cahokia last night, and we'll beat the Cahokia Special Olympics team today.
That's what we like to hear. Ray, of course, you're on the show. We've got to ask you the WMIX Sports social media question of the week, designed to catch people off guard. This one may, it may not. What is your favorite Christmas carol or Christmas song?
Well, since I've been listening to the sports show this morning, I've had some fair warning. But I would say my favorite is Perry Como's Home for the Holidays.
Nice. No in sync. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, nothing like that. Perry Como, the traditional.
No, Perry Como. Just have to be old-fashioned on the Christmas carols.
There we go.
I'd like to point out that myself and my wife, we're looking at a combo fundraiser for next year. We're going to put together a CD of Christmas music with local acts, hoping to get SBS involved and some others, that have gone through with that we know, and just have a Christmas CD of for next year as a fundraiser.
Nice. Well, when you get that finalized, get me the information. We'll be happy to promote that for you.
Well, thank you.
You bet. Ray Clodi, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck today.
Thank you.
As Ray Clodi, athletic director, of course, of the Mount Vernon Mavericks, and a great program they have there. The Mount Vernon Rams program, of course, always been great as well. Ray's wife, Megan, pretty well very, very big, both of them, with the Special Olympics, and often put together the Slam Gym that's gone on at Mount Vernon High School, amongst some other things. We need to take a break on the Saturday Sports Show. When we return, we'll have plenty more to talk about, of course. I'm Chris, he's Danny. This is WMIX Sports. We're presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Do you farm or operate an agriculture-based business? Then Community First Bank is for you. Hi, I'm Steve Down, Agribusiness Lending Officer at Community First Bank. With our roots firmly planted in Jefferson County, we offer the stability, strength, and personal attention that you deserve. Community First Bank wants to be your financial partner with customized products for both your personal and farm banking needs. Stop by any of our 5 convenient Jefferson County locations to see how we can help your business grow.
Community First Bank with locations in Mount Vernon, Woodlawn, Dix, and Ina. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital with our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Glad to have you for our final segment, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Of course, it's been a busy week for the IHSA. They released the girls and boys basketball postseason site assignments earlier than expected. We got them on Wednesday. We were sitting there at Galatia for the Galatia-Thompsonville Woodlawn girls game, and lo and behold, here come the postseason assignments. Oh, hey, they're up. Yeah. And definitely some surprises and some not so much along the way.
Well,
I will let you lead to wherever we go first, so I'm going off of memory. Sure.
1A boys.
How about that? You have Woodlawn, Waltonville, and ZR all hosting regionals as far as our immediate proximity. And the thing I found most baffling, the Wayne City Indians, who, by the way, are playing for third place tonight in the Conrad Allen Holiday Tournament, but the Wayne City Indians will go south to Waltonville.
Right.
Instead of going to Woodlawn.
Bypass Woodlawn.
They fed north this entire time, but not this time.
All right. I got one better for you.
Okay.
Geographically challenged, they have Grayville, who it's minutes away from Edwards County.
Right.
And ship them to Gallatin County. Edwards County is a 6-team regional. Grayville gets shipped into a 7-team Gallatin County regional.
So if you're going to have a 7-team,
no sense.
Yeah, you're right. That one doesn't.
I mean, Wayne City bad, but Grayville takes the cake. I mean, I'm sorry, there's no reason that Grayville should have to travel all the way to Gallatin County, float down to Wabash to get there, or however they're going to get there. But that's ridiculous. I mean, that's one of those things where you just say, hey, guys, make a switch. It's not too late. Have Grayville go to Edwards County. It won't hurt them. It's 6 teams at Gallatin County. Because everybody else, when you look at 1A boys in the super that we look at, is decent. I mean, Sesser is coming north because they're going to bump up and pull from the Cobden, Goreville area and then all that stuff. The Meridian Regional hosts a regional every year, or something. They get that taken care of. So I understand all the pairings, all the groupings look good. Just those two things. Wayne City's minor going to Waltonville, but Cotton Pick, there's no reason Grayville should have to go to Gallatin
The only
County.
thing I can figure on that is they're looking at Route 1. And they're looking at the straight line approach, even if it is a little bit longer. But that is a hellacious drive.
Golf club to Edwards County.
We've been to Gallatin County. We've been past the high school, even if it was on accident.
It wasn't on accident. We drove through there.
That is a long drive, and because we went back up Route 1 just to Norris City, and you know how much longer we would have had to Grayville. I mean, it's across the other side of the county. It's split on White and Edwards. So
right.
But it's even in the same county technically. The high school is. I think the high school's on the Edwards County side.
Yes,
because only a portion of Grayville's
you have a regional
in
in the same county, and the same spot where Grayville is, basically right there, and they got to drive down. It's no sense. And this is one of those they could change this week.
Because it's not one of those things where you're looking at a regional that has 5 and another one has 7.
Right.
This is a case where it's 6 and 7. So if you're going to have that flex either way, you would think you'd send it to Edwards County. But I'm sure there's some sort of mathematical formula. Maybe they're trying to keep competitive. I don't know. I can't speak for that. But you take a look. Weber also goes to Waltonville. That does make sense, the same county motif, because Wayne City could just easily gone to Edwards County. But I know they were trying to keep that at 6 as well, and it all has to do with location, because you have Edwards County, Diederich, St. Elmo, and Woodlawn all feeding into the sectional at Altamont, which is a great place to catch a basketball game, by the way. The St. Elmo Regional is no surprise. It's pretty well an NTC reunion plus Nokomis.
Yeah.
But you have the Woodlawn Regional, which is Christ Our Rock Lutheran, South Central, Mulberry Grove. What?
Yeah.
Mulberry Grove, they come down for softball, so now they think they can come down for basketball too. I see how it is. Odin, Patoka, Sandoval, Woodlawn. And we're not ripping on the IHSA by any means. It's just the assignments are always baffling. It is like Christmas, however, when we get to talk about these. But you take a look at that Woodlawn Regional, and you even take a look at how the season's gone early on. And I hate to say it, there's already favorites that stick out everywhere. And you knew there were going to be before the season started, but not a lot as you look down at the entire Class 1A statewide. Just not a lot of parity at some of these regionals, and you just kind of wonder how they were set up, why they were set up the way they are, why Waltonville, ZR, and Woodlawn, all three so close together hosting regionals. And I know someone had asked, why do Woodlawn and Waltonville get a regional, but Sesser, who applies, doesn't? And
part of the deal.
Well, it is, and you can't be upset if you're Sesser or somebody who is upset about that Woodlawn's hosting, because they're feeding into an entirely different sectional. If you want to be upset that Waltonville has one, because I think the argument was that Woodlawn's had so many over the recent memory, why not give Sesser a boys regional? Of course, they had one 2 years ago, but it's just kind of one of those things with the IHSA. You take a look at the ZR regional, and Sesser being so close to be able to go to either one, Waltonville or ZR, but ZR is going to have to pull from the south, because your only other regional in deep southwestern Illinois is at Meridian.
Right.
And there are a ton of schools lumped together down there in the deep south.
And that's the regional that Waltonville, Sesser, Goreville, Crab Orchard, Ziegler, Christopher have all been mixed around and matched since the 4-class system. So I don't have any issues or any problems with how they divided those things up in 1A. Just the Grayville thing stands out to me as an awful division.
Well, and it is. And it's going to be. But I think we can just leave it at that. Of course, we'll run down these plenty again when we actually start to preview the postseason in February and March. But Weber, Christopher, Sesser, Steelville, Waltonville, Wayne City at Waltonville, Christower, Rock, South Central, Mulberry Grove, Odin, Patoka, Sandoval at Woodlawn. And, of course, the St. Elmo one, we told you pretty well, the National Trail Conference, Altamont, Beecher City, Brownstown, Cowden, Herrick, Nokomis, Ramsey, St. Elmo. Diederich, of course, is your usual suspects out of the NTC as well. And then out Edwards County is Edwards County, Red Hill, Sisney, Clay City, North Clay, and West Richland, which,
pretty good.
That makes sense. I mean, everybody in there makes sense except why Grayville is not. So, I mean, that's pretty well a close look at Class 1A on the boys' side. What do you say, 2A boys?
2A boys.
Let's keep it with, let's go gender and then up class. Let's just do that.
That's what I was planning.
Good deal. Let's take a look at the Frankfort sectional first. You have the Hamco Regional, the El Dorado Regional, which are very close together, lumped right there together on 142. You have Murphy and Sparta both hosting regionals as well. And at Sparta, you have DuQuoin, Nashville, Pinckneyville, Redbud, and Sparta. And for Nashville's sake, I know you kind of like being away from Central, but at the same time, where was that 3 years ago type of thing? But you know what? That's going to be a very, very competitive Sparta Regional.
Well, again, that's been kind of the one with DuQuoin in and out of that with those 5 teams. And Mississippi Division Conference Tournament with Redbud. And interesting that those teams are there. Of course, that's kind of, again, that's the line. That's where they're at located on the map. So that's a good draw for Sparta. I mean, that's where it should be.
Well, and then you have Murphy with AJ, Trico. I keep forgetting Trico's 2A in boys basketball now. But you have AJ, Trico, Carterville, Chester, and Murphy.
Yeah. You got to remember.
Could be anything happening.
Chester and Trico bump up.
Right.
Freeburg and Columbia went up in 3A. Olney goes up in 3A. So when these teams bump up, there's going to be some schools filter down as well and get mixed around, and the adjustments have to be made because, Murfreesboro, Carterville's been together for a while. That Johnson City, Frankfort slid in and out there as well. So it's all depending on the shifting with this class system that's going on where these teams go.
Well, now you have 2 regionals very close together. And
this one blew my mind.
You have Hamco.
Yep.
And you have El Dorado. At El Dorado, you have Benton, El Dorado, Harrisburg, Johnston City, Vienna, and West Frankfort. At McLeansboro, you have Carmi, Fairfield, Flora, Lawrenceville, Hamco, and Mount Carmel.
That was the key. When last summer there was speculation about how far north the IHSA would go. They didn't, hence the regionals there. Now they went north and got Flora and Lawrenceville and brought them down. And brought them in because Flora and Lawrenceville and Olney and all them used to be in the same 2A regional. Well, now everything's shifted around with Olney going 3A, that Flora and Lawrenceville got brought down, which bumped a couple teams into El Dorado, which I think one of them was Benton and also Johnston City. I think Benton thought that and others thought they would be in a regional away from Harrisburg. Now they're in with Harrisburg. So that's the way it goes.
Well, I mean, the only non-surprise at El Dorado, other than Vienna, is Harrisburg. You knew that those two were going to be there. I've really figured that Benton would probably end up at Hamco. But the team I lost sight of was Lawrenceville.
When Lawrenceville and Florida came down, that was when Benton got kicked down to El Dorado with Harrisburg. That's how it goes.
So that's the name of the game. And the other,
you can see the logic in that.
Sure.
Grayville, no logic. This 2A down here, logic.
So in a matchup that should have been a sectional championship for years, Nashville and Breeze Central obviously could be if both teams advance that far. Central hosts their own regional that feeds into Greenville. Regional. Central, Mater Dei, Carlisle, Dupo, and Westglen. Mater Dei, welcome back to 2A for one.
Again, I hate that rule. I'm sorry. Marion's not won a regional in 20-some-odd years. They don't get to bump down to 2A. Why should a private school who gets to get what they want get the bump down when they want, a.k.a. Altall football?
Just for the sake of argument, I love arguing with you. So, obviously, the non-boundaried institutions are subject to a multiplier.
They were.
So, should we divide Marion? I mean, how do you do that? You know what I mean?
Really not arguing, I guess. There's always going to be an argument because until that school district for these private schools closed down to a certain area instead of the world, there's nothing to do.
Right.
In a public school, when you register, you have to show address, water bill, electric bill, umpteen different forms of identification. If you walk in and write a check to Althoff, Mater Dei, or Jabot, you're in. There's no questions. And if they don't get, they get all they want. Don't think that all these kids move in because of schooling, I got news for you. But that's another time, another topic. I just don't like the fact that, like, Althoff this year got the bump down from 4A to 2A in football. It's silly. I mean, and now they won't get to go back to that for another 5 years or
Right.
6. But come on, folks. Let's quit trying to move around the elephant in the room. Let's take care of it.
Well, and that's exactly. I think they are not done. There's going to be more happen. They phased everything.
Football's getting ready to. I'm telling you now, I've said it for months. Football's going to get messed with.
You had the proposal to the IHSA written up and drafted this
didn't make
year,
it.
but that doesn't mean that it won't be drafted again.
Here's the
and won't
thing.
make it next year.
I will say this about football, even though we're in December. There are schools purposely scheduling themselves to play another team twice in 1 year instead of traveling and playing somebody else.
Right.
Now, that's an after effect of trying to get the 5-6 wins. You want to play the same team so you can get some wins. That's got to stop. Heron and Massac had to. They couldn't find anybody. Now they've got people. Now, Heron's got Waterloo, and I think Freeburg goes to Massac. Nice bus trip there for those.
Of course, you're.
But there are 2 teams to our west that have scheduled football games at the same time. That's where football's got to change. Yes. 2 teams to our west have purposely scheduled 2 games in 1 year against each other. Have dropped a local team.
That'll be good
Won't
discussion.
Say who or where.
I would say that'd be good discussion for the war room after the show. But
yes,
at the Carbondale Super, you have the Altamont and Hardin County sectionals feeding into the Super in 1A. It's Greenville and West Frankfort feeding to Carbondale in 2A. That'll be a doubleheader on the same night. We'll look at Class 3A real quick. This is where you kind of wondered what would happen to the Mount Vernon Rams. The Rams typically not the swing school. In the past, it's been Centralia or Salem, but now the Rams are the swing. Were they going to go to Centralia? Were they going to go to Carbondale? And they end up going south to Carbondale.
Only Freeburg, Columbia. That changed everything, and that's what happened. I mean, when those schools bumped up, they had to divide. I think last year you and I talked about it here. When softball and baseball got jacked around and teams got split up, we could see this coming in volleyball. We did, and now we see it in basketball. It worked out. Teams are going to get in, and to be real honest, that regional Carbondale with the Rams is pretty wide open because Mount Vernon, Carbondale, Marion are about even.
Right, yes. We've learned that. We've definitely learned that. Here's my thing. You are a Mount Carmel away from that being very messed up. Mount Carmel, of course, was on the bubble, of course, to go up to 3A this year, but they don't. Could you imagine? Because if Carbondale would not have, Carbondale you see is a team that would have gone to Waterloo had they not been hosting, and Mount Carmel had to find somewhere to go, especially if Marion would have hosted that regional. It would have been easy to see Mount Vernon still going south to Marion if this were to happen, and Carbondale having to go up to Waterloo if that were to happen.
You're 2 teams away from really having some things screwed up next year.
You're very right.
I'm telling you right now, there should be, by my count, what goes on, unless something changes in the rules, 5 Ohio Division teams will be 3A next year.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, and it could be 6 depending on the cut line, but at least 5 if everything stays the same.
I know there are others out there that'll agree with me right now. There is no reason if and when that happens you shouldn't look at getting some of the South 7 back together.
You got to call somebody in Heron and say, hey, folks, you're not going down anymore. You're not going to be 2A ever again under this system. You need to start swallowing the bitter pill and come back in and join the 7. Well, 6.
Yeah.
Have to.
Carbondale Regionals, Carbondale, Heron, Marion, Massac County, and the Mount Vernon Rams. The Centralia Regional, these regionals feed into the sectional at Mascoutah. Centralia has Centralia, Effingham, Mascoutah, Olney, and Salem. Civic has, this is in Bethalto, Alton Marquette, who bumped up.
Yep.
No longer a possible super sectional matchup with Harrisburg, as we all thought prior to this happening. Civic, Memorial, East St. Louis is going to have something to say there. Highland, Jersey, and Triad, while Waterloo has Althoff, Cahokia, Columbia, Freeburg, and Waterloo. The other side of that is Mount Zion sectional.
Well, only back when it was 2 class came into Centralia 1 year and got a regional, way back a few years back. So that's like going back to their own stomping grounds. They know they're going back. Alton Marquette was going to be a favorite to play Harrisburg at Carbondale to Super in March.
On paper,
that's off the board. Then Cahokia gets bumped in, and regional that they're going to be highly favored to win at Waterloo, getting away from East Side and that. So, again, when teams move up and down based on class systems, that's what happens. The IHSA's got to redivide. And 3A looks like kind of what I thought it would look like. I didn't have all the exact teams, obviously, but just kind of the shape and form of everything looked like it.
Well, it looked like it indeed. And taking a look at the other side, Rochester bumps up this year. They immediately get to host a regional in that nice field house they have up there. Glenwood, Jacksonville, Rochester, and the Springfield schools, Lamphere, Sacred Heart, and Southeast. Taking a look at the Bloomington Regional, Central Catholic, Bloomington, Eisenhower from Decatur, Lincoln, and Normal U-High. Decatur's split in half. MacArthur will go to the Mattoon Regional with Charleston, Mattoon, Mount Zion, and Taylorville. Mattoon has typically been a swing school in Class 3A. Champaign Centennial is Centennial, Champaign Central, Mahomet Seymour, Rantoul, and Urbana, and that will all feed into your Springfield Super at the Prairie Capital Convention Center in Class 3A. And not going to have a lot of time to talk girls' assignments probably today, but that's something we can definitely dive into in the not-too-distant future, because the Lady Rams were going to be another team that was kind of a swing, and they end up heading down south to Heron instead of going to Centralia as well. I did find it interesting in girls Class 1A.
Yeah.
That Alvarado Regional. Wow.
Yeah, Galatia and Wayne City have to catch a flight to get to Alvarado. I'm sure they're not complaining. It's a regional, which we were talking the other night with some people that Wayne City's got to be a close favorite in that one, and just the fact that Wayne City and Galatia have to travel over, and Wayne City could go to Edwards County or Galatia could go to Gallatin County, was a shocker in my opinion.
How about the ZR2A Girls Regional?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Hey, have fun. Benton, DuQuoin, Sesser-Valier, Waltonville, West Frankfort, ZR, and Wayne Harry's Nashville Hornets.
Yeah. And then if you win that, you got to go to DuPo. What got me about 1A boys is your 1A sectionals in Altamont and Hardin County, as remote as you get. And then in girls, the sectionals are at DuPo and Newton, about as remote as you get for our middle ground area here in the I-64, I-57 corridor.
Exactly. But it's just insane. You're Rick Metcalf thinking, I might have a pretty good chance again this year to get back to a sectional. Heron's no longer in my regional. They're up to 3A. Oh, hi Nashville.
Yep.
And we're not saying that Nashville's a lock to just keep winning everything they play in, but I mean, that is certainly not the team you wanted to have to see your sectional semifinalists from
Benton
last year.
and them are tough enough, and you throw that in the equation. Now Nashville will be the number 1 seed.
Yeah. Ooh. It's kind of scary prospect. Busy day of basketball for us. We'll have the Lady Rams at Freeburg on the FM at about 2:20. We will also have the Mount Vernon Rams and Waterloo Bulldogs on the air tonight on WMIX FM 715, 720-ish or so. We'll have video for the Rams tonight, audio online at WMIXsports.com for Freeburg. DC will head to Freeburg. I'll be in studio for that, and we'll come back together tonight with video. We'll hope that you'll join us. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter in the meantime, or log on to WMIXsports.com for the easiest access of our sports department. Busy week next week. Our broadcast schedule is also online at WMIXsports.com. Stops in Sisney for girls basketball. Mount Vernon for a duo of games on, well, not quite back-to-back nights. Mount Vernon Cairo on Tuesday. Mount Vernon Heron girls on Thursday. Mount Vernon Rams are at Marion on Friday. Of course, the Weber girls are at Sisney Monday. That's the one we're doing. All of those games on WMIX FM. This is WMIX Mount Vernon, a free service from Withers Broadcasting. CNN News. Make that NBC now.